Welcome, everyone. This is Janice Deloy with OHUG. We're happy to have you here to talk about making Cloud HCM and legacy work together. We have Nishant Sinha with DataVale to talk with us about that today. And please feel free to ask your questions as we go along, although we may hold some of them till towards the end. You should have a Q&A button. And then for the chat, if you have any issues or administrative type questions, feel free to throw those in the chat and I'll be happy to answer you. Nishant, take it away.
Yep, thank you. So before I start, I just want to check if I am clear and I'm audible.
You sound great.
Thank you. So thanks, Janie. Let me just start with the presentation today. We are going to talk about how do we make our Oracle Cloud HCM work with the legacy HR systems. So, and now this is the thing. Yes. So before the screen was frozen for a while. So anyway, now it's fine. So before we move forward, I just wanted to tell you guys that at the end of the session, you will be receiving the feedback email. Please do respond to that. And all the responders will be eligible to win a gift from DataVale. So a quick introduction about myself. I am working in the Oracle ERP world for last more than 17 years. I have worked in Oracle and I have worked like 50% of my career in Oracle in the product development side. And then in the 50%, like the last half of my career, I have been doing Oracle consulting and implementing Oracle products worldwide. So, and currently I'm working with DataVale and I do multiple things. One of the things that I do is, design systems to coexist with each other and many other kinds of integrations. So now I just wanted to let you know about the audience. So who is the best suited audience for today's presentation? So if you are one of the business leaders in your company who is responsible for the cloud journey, the modernization of your ERP, then this is for you. If you are one of those technical or the functional architects, or you are one of the implementers, then you will find a very good amount of content for you as well. So what I mean to say basically is, there's a bit of it for everyone, whether you are thinking from the strategic point of view or you are thinking from the tactical point of view. This presentation is going to be part like a mixture of theory as well as I will be taking help of a use case and I will tell you what I have actually done, one of the use cases which we did for our customers. So that way, it will be able to give you a little bit of live practical, insight about what is happening around. However, if you are one who is not in any of these three roles, then I request you, that for the time being, for the next 40-45 minutes, please put yourself into one of these shoes, whatever best suits, which is whatever the closest to your role, so that, you will be able to get that idea from that point of view, whatever role you pick up. So that's the thing. Now, I will quickly take you to the agenda. We are going to talk about the basics of the modernization journey. When we start thinking about the journey, what we should be thinking about, what should be our important considerations, the challenges. We'll talk a little bit about coexistence. We will look at the use case. Like I said, the use case that I have is Oracle Cloud HCM coexisting with PeopleSoft. And then I will also cover a bit about how this can, what are the different ways or what are the possibilities of Oracle HCM coexisting with EBS, ADP, and SAP. And then at the end, I will be sharing some of the considerations that we learned throughout this journey and what best practices we followed, we learned, sometimes proactively and sometimes through hard lessons. So I'll be sharing all of those with you guys. So at this point of time, let me launch a poll and see what is the system that you are looking for. tell me, can you just go on your screen and vote and let me know what is your interest today? Which coexistence you are looking for? Are you looking for coexistence with EBS or PeopleSoft or ADP or SAP? Like, what is your interest at this point of time? Can you just vote? I'll be waiting here for a few seconds. Good. So we have a couple of, oh, wow. PeopleSoft 6. Good. Nice. Nice. So we have ADP, we have EPS, but majority sticks to PeopleSoft. I will be waiting for a few more seconds. All right. So as you can see on your screen, we have straight away 50% of the audience, quite interested and looking forward to the PeopleSoft. And then you are the lucky ones because that is exactly my use case. However, that doesn't mean that I don't have things for the other ones. We do have it towards, after the PeopleSoft one. So let me just move to that place and, start sharing that with you. Thanks for all the people who have voted. So, all right. So this is one of the things, the agenda. Now, again, this thing, yes. So whenever you think about modernizing your ERP, now that is not an easy decision. Because it's not only a software upgrade. It's not just a software upgrade that you are thinking about. You are thinking about basically upgrading the entire system, the core of the business. The ERP runs through your business like there's a blood which runs in your body, right? So it is everywhere in your business. So you're talking about a big change which is going to happen in the business. So what are the things that you should be considering, or what are the things you should be thinking about when you are thinking of a modernization journey or moving any of the existing legacy HR systems to Oracle Cloud applications? To be specific, for this sake of this meeting, this presentation, Oracle HCM Cloud. So multiple things could be there in your mind, and we are shortly coming to that slide as well. But one of the things, my suggestion is look at your infrastructure first. Where are your current systems hosted? Are they in a state, where you are not afraid of touching them? So I have seen customers who are afraid, fearful about just rebooting their existing servers because they're not sure whether those servers would come up or not once they are, rebooted. So those kind of things, you have to look on the infrastructure, and we are going to talk about it a little more in detail also in the upcoming slides. And then, so when it comes to the application, so again, I will be limiting myself to Oracle HCM Cloud today. So when it comes to getting your system on, live, so there are multiple things multiple ways you can approach this. The easiest one, but the most dangerous one, is the big bang approach, where you just take your entire system, take it to Oracle HCM Cloud, and in a big bang way, just bring everything live. Pros and cons are there. So let's not get into that debate right now. There is another approach of getting your staggered phase-wise go lives. But then you have a lot of struggle planning, cutovers and all those things. And then one of the things that we are going to talk about today is the coexistence, where you can go live with a part of your application to the modern Oracle HCM Cloud and allow the core parts, which are bigger impact on your business, having a huge change management impact, you can allow them to coexist in your existing HR system. And then you can plan your journey to cloud very incrementally. Let us see about this thing in detail in the upcoming slides, right? So why do we coexist? What are the benefits, or what should be your goal? So one of the best and my favorite is that once you coexist, once you decide to coexist your system with your legacy system, you can be very comfortable with the change management. So you are not shaking the entire boat at one go. So you can incrementally adopt a process where a part of the business goes live. You allow the business to settle with it, get comfortable with it, hash out the difficulties, hash out the challenges that the business is facing during that time frame, and then one by one, based on the strategy of for your business, whatever best suits you, you can keep on adding more to that, and eventually you can have a roadmap where you will be on cloud completely. And that is one way. And you may decide to permanently coexist because you are so fascinated by some of the legacy functionalities which you believe that is best to remain in the legacy. So if that is the case, that also is one of the options you can decide. So, but this gives you the flexibility, and so having these two, the key benefits that I see, those are my favorites. This gives you a very less or minimum disruption. It gives you the power of interoperability. What I mean by that is, you can get the best of both the worlds. You can get the best of Oracle Cloud HCM, and then you can get the best and the power of maybe EBS, the sharpness of ADP, or if you have SAP, you can leverage SAP features. All of that can be done if you decide to coexist, and then you can time box your coexistence. Like I said, it can be for a short amount of time, or it can be like your permanent strategy. That depends. So these are the things which I think should be the benefits. Now, when you are thinking about coexistence, remember this, we are talking about now one ERP itself is a beast to handle in an organization. Now we are talking about two different ERPs, and then two different ERPs, they are talking to each other, they are interacting with each other, data is moving. If you do not keep it simple, and if you overcomplicate it, if you try to get very fascinated by developing a very complex architecture, trust me, it is going to become a monster and very hard for you to control it. You don't want to create a nightmare for yourself from maintenance point of view. You are like, the focus should mainly be to reap the benefits rather than to make it complex, right? So that is one of the things at every single step. This we started practicing right from the day one when we were doing coexistence, and then we had several hard lessons also to learn, and we kept on simplifying our design. So that is one thing. The second thing is, because we are talking about Oracle ecosystem, and this presentation is all about Oracle HCM Cloud, and I also come from the same background, I will very strongly suggest you to stay within Oracle ecosystem. You can opt for the toolkits which are available, you can opt for the interfaces which are available, or you can develop your own coexistence. Anything is fine, but try not to make it a very heterogeneous system, because at that point of time you'll be violating the first principle, which is the KISS principle of design. The simplicity will be violated, so keep that in mind. Strong recommendation is to be within Oracle ecosystem. Security should be a very important consideration, because now the data is flowing across multiple ERPs. There are several reports, approvals, like what not will come into picture. You need to be very careful about how do you present the right data to the right people and not present what they're not supposed to see. So that is important. Take care of that. Work with your SSO, ITMS solutions, important. Look at your current system. Don't jump on designing the future system architecture on day one. We invested, when we were doing the coexistence, we invested good amount of time understanding the current system. Now, when I'm talking about a legacy HR, remember, we are talking about more than a decade of that system being in place sometimes, right? So like the one which I was working on was like, I don't know, maybe like 15 years old ERP in place, okay? So if an ERP has existed for several years, and it has gone to each and every corner of the business, please do invest time, look at the current system in detail, understand what is where. You may not maybe the recent employees may not be even aware of which integrations are working behind the scenes to keep the show running. So go and do some homework there, understand it, and then based on what you learn from there, you should be working on the future system architecture. So that is one important consideration which helped us a lot. And then if you decide to go for custom coexistence, then and by the way, we had to go for custom coexistence because of the complexities which were involved. So all the out-of-box solutions provided either by PeopleSoft or by ADP or by other providers, they were not suiting our requirement. So like I said, I was working on a system which was there for more than 15 years in the business. So there were a lot of complex scenarios. So then we opted for custom coexistence. We developed our own coexistence, and I will be showing you that in due course of time. So, but at this point of time, when you think about this, let me tell you, there are two important things which you need to consider. One is, how do you establish the connection between the two ERPs? One is on cloud and one most probably is on-prem, right? So think about this. That is one of the things. Now, if you are in the Oracle ecosystem, there are several ways through which you can do this. If you have OIC, the PaaS solution from Oracle, just use it. It has got agents to directly connect the on-prem database, and then it has got several APIs, several adapters. Explore it, but it will solve your problem. It has enough to cater to all your requirements. And then the objects for coexistence, that is also important based on what you are deciding to coexist. So we'll be coming to that shortly about what we're deciding to coexist. But remember that, let's say if your core HR, the global HR, is in Oracle HCM, and you decide to keep your payroll in the legacy system, then you need to sync both sides, first of all. And then you need to sync all the elements which are required for payroll to run on the legacy system, regardless of where the data is getting created. So those are the considerations you should have. In my example of payroll being in the legacy and the global HR, core HR being on the cloud, we had the workforce structure, the worker information, the time and labor, absence, and compensation, benefits and compensation. These 4 and 5 things to be synced, so that the payroll gets the right inputs to calculate the payroll, right? So that is one of the important considerations. Now, having said that, let us look at what is available, what Oracle suggests. So this directly comes from Oracle. This is a very simple approach which Oracle has suggested. All these links. So by the way, whatever I am going and presenting today and whatever talking, I'll be using a few diagrams. I'll be using few text and links. So all of them are present in the document. So at the end of the presentation, I will be sharing that presentation with you all, and it has a list of all the links. So don't worry about that how did I get this diagram or how will you get this back. All of this is there at the end of the presentation. So this is a very basic thing. If you look at this is a very basic structure which Oracle suggests. Just get your fusion system ready for coexistence, export the mappings to the file server, and this is all file SFTP based coexistence is what is displayed in this diagram. Get your mappings and identifiers out, give it to the source application, the legacy application, let it take it, digest it, and create the mappings. Once the mappings are created, then just export the map data. And once that map data is out, you just need to load it, And when I say you just need to load it, just look at this. This is again provided by Oracle, how Oracle talks about the SCM coexistence. So you may have your workforce directory, you may have your talent, you may have your core HR, all of that in Fusion. And you may want to keep your time and labor, payroll and benefits in source application. And this is just one of the use cases, one of the scenarios. You have a lot of flexibility to decide what you want to keep where. But in this diagram, you can see, the source application holds the payroll while Fusion holds the talent part of it. So you can see what Oracle suggests. How do you coexist? So certain things you have to load periodically, certain things you have to migrate once, and certain things you have to extract. So these are things you have to consider. And Oracle has given you all the tools that you need. You can look at this, you have the HCM data loaders, you have the spreadsheet loaders, you have atom feeds available, a bunch of, REST endpoints are there, extracts are there, BI reports, like whatnot. So this link you can see I put here, and the same link is there at the end of the presentation as well. So you will be able to get all of this in detail. If you want to look at what all web services are available, what are REST endpoints are there, all of this is available in the link that I've shared, and also how you can leverage them in your application. So you'll be able to find this. So this is what Oracle's capabilities are, I will say. So with this in mind, let me bring you to my use case. Okay. So my use case was, we were working with a very large enterprise, multiple countries, more than 6,000 employees, different payroll systems in different countries, uh, more than 25 different systems were integrated with their legacy HR system. Okay, so just imagine, I'm not talking about 25 integrations integrating with the entire ERP. No, I'm just talking about the legacy HR system, which was PeopleSoft. There were more than 25 different systems interacting for different purposes. Some of them were like very critical, like time and attendance. Some of them were like a little less important, like the service desk kind of stuff, the file storage like Dynafile and other things. But there were overall more than 25 integrations. And that is why, if you recollect, I was talking a few minutes back about investing your time understanding the current system architecture. That is very important because that will give you all the insights. You will come to know very surprising things about the current system, the way it is managed and the way data is flowing at different places. And you will be able to sunset a lot of them. A lot of those systems may be sunset. Some of them are not being used. They are just lying there in the system without any important usage. Some of them may be getting replaced by the new Oracle HCM Cloud, which comes with out-of-box functionality, so you don't need it. Some of them may be redundant because you bought a file storage system, but then you also bought the latest Microsoft Office 365 solution, and then you're using that, and the old one is not required. All of this will be there. You need to invest and figure that out. So that was the thing. In my use case, there were 25 plus integrations. PeopleSoft was the HR, and JD Edwards was the finance system. Okay, and what was the proposed solution? Oracle HCM Cloud was going to become the new HR system. We were taking the financial planning to EPM, Oracle EPM Cloud. And then the ERP was also moving to Oracle Cloud, but then of course in phases, not straightforward. So what we decided initially was that we will take the regular operational part of HR to cloud and leave the payroll part of it on the legacy system. We will let the finance be there for a part of it and some time, and then we will move, when we move finance to Oracle Cloud, Oracle ERP Cloud, and replace JD Edwards with that, at that point of time we would be moving payroll. So that was our strategy based on various factors. It could have been different. I'm sure it will be very different for you when you look at your system. So we will be talking more about that on the upcoming slides as well. I will be spending a little more time there. So, but before that, let me also bring you to another important aspect. So we were here. You see this? We were using Oracle Hyperion for financial planning. JD Edwards was used for the financials, and PeopleSoft for HR. And all of this was hosted on IBM AS400 machine. And when we were talking to the customer, I told you that the customer was afraid of bouncing their server. The servers, the existing infrastructure, and with all due respect to AS400, we all have seen it, the power and the capabilities that it brought. But in today's modern world, the infrastructure that this customer was having was very rickety. The systems were like spread all across, ERP was on the mainframe server, while a lot of other systems were on different local machines, hosted on system 1, hosted on system 2. It was like a nightmare. There was no disaster recovery. Anything happens to your system, your business is shut, your ERP is shut. That was the state. So at that point of time, we took one decision to first take their entire infrastructure to OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, so that it stabilizes their system immediately. They are free from the worry of losing everything on any unfortunate second, right? So we did that. So that gave a lot of confidence. This was a pretty, I will not say easy, but it was a quick thing to do. And then we little bit extended, so tried to, there was a little bit of work around, remapping the integration. Some of them were like very hard coded. So now you have to map it to the new cloud, mappings, all of those. We did a little bit of cleanup of their data, a little bit of cleanup of their, old systems. So all of this. So basically, we just stabilized it. We optimized it. And then the third step, which you see stage 3 on this slide, is the transformation, where, the actual transformation journey. So that is the approach which we took. So this takes care of the infrastructure, takes you out of the red critical zone where you don't know what can happen next second on your system, and you pose a great risk and actually a threat to your business. So all of that, your disaster recovery is in place now, and you are in safe hands of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Knowing all of this, now we were well set to work on the transformation with peaceful mind, now not worrying about what will happen to the current system. So now when we talk about all of this, I want to stay back on this slide. Now I know this slide is very, very basic for all of you, because this is a HR HCM specific team audience that we are talking about. But what I'm trying to highlight here is, whether you look at the HR from the hire to retire business process point of view, or you look at it the way I am looking at it right now in terms of the core functions, where you have the core HR, the workforce, the talent, and payroll is a little bit attached to the workforce, or let's say payroll as one unit. So if you look at this, payroll, you do a lot of work. You run your HR operationally, you hire employees, you promote them, you maintain them, you transfer them, you compensate them, you do performance appraisals, you do trainings, like you do a lot of day-to-day operational work in your system. And at the end of the period, when it comes to, pay them their salary, so that is when you go to the payroll, right? You don't touch your payroll every day. And now payroll has multiple inputs. So payroll wants the worker information, the worker assignment information. Payroll wants to know your time and attendance. Payroll wants to know your absence data. Payroll wants to know your the compensation and benefits structure. So all of this is input to payroll, and then payroll is run. Payroll, generates the payroll file, and then what actually happens is that it is ultimately transferred to finance. right? So that the same can be reflected in the general ledger. Now, if you look at this, and if you look at the way I am looking at it, payroll is little bit, different, a little bit outside day-to-day operations, and it is more closer to the finance, where it talks about the numbers, the money, the outgoing money, and how it is accounted. So that is how we looked at our system when we were designing it. And at this point of time, let me do a quick poll again to see what you think about all of this. So this is the older one. So this question, so how do you are looking at it right now? What is there in your mind right now? If you were to plan the coexistence strategy right away, what approach would you take? Would you, uh, bring the core HR in HCM and payroll would continue to stay in legacy? The second one is like, you will bring the payroll in HCM to get the benefits and allow core HR in legacy. How would you do? You have 4 options in front of you. Please go ahead and vote and let's see what you are thinking. It may not match with the approach we took, but let's see, how much we are cohering with each other. So I will be waiting for a few seconds before everyone, we get more responses. Wow. Okay. All right. There's a tie right now between option A and C. All right. So, okay. So there is one person who gave a little more weightage to option A. All right. So this gives a little bit sense of, what we are talking about. So if you look at this, option A has got the vote, the maximum percentage, which is 42%, and option C is 33%. I am glad that we have less votes on option B and D, because there could be multiple scenarios, but remember, one of the important considerations of designing your coexistence is to keep it simple. You don't want to complicate it. So, option A is what we took. It was like, uh, utilizing the core HR part in Oracle, and not only the core HR, if you see here the phase one. So in this diagram, what you can see is the first section is what we already talked about, about the infrastructure part. Now look at the phase one here, this one where this is still there. This poll is still going on. Okay, but there is no change in the numbers. So can I end this poll? It is already ended. Okay, both the polls are closed now. Sorry about that. Okay, so now if you look at this, what we did, in my case, the huge case that I'm talking about, we took core HR benefits absence, time and labor compensation, performance, recruiting, everything except the monster payroll, everything else to HCM. And then what we did was, in the part two, when we were bringing the finance and supply chain, the FSCS systems to cloud, so we thought of bringing Oracle Payroll at that point of time. So that way, our payroll is there, and just whenever we were like, in our case, when in phase two in this diagram, when we were upgrading or migrating JD Edwards to Oracle ERP Cloud, that was a time when we were also migrating the payroll to Oracle HCM Cloud. Until then, everything else was Oracle HCM Cloud, but payroll continued to exist in PeopleSoft. And why we decided it? Several reasons. I'm telling you, there was not one reason, but if you ask me, the one of the most important reasons was mm, was like I said, to ensure that the change management is not difficult, not from our point of view, not from the implementer point of view, but from the business user's point of view. The HR department, the payroll department, the finance department, it shouldn't be tough for the day-to-day users, because if it is tough and they are finding it hard to understand, hard to use it, there is that poses a risk and threat to the overall success of the implementation. So that is what we thought. So when we were talking about PeopleSoft, we evaluated this solution. PeopleSoft, there is Oracle Deliver Toolkit, which is available, which helps you coexist with the PeopleSoft HR solution on-prem with Oracle HCM Cloud. Now, this is one of the things which you can evaluate when you are thinking about your coexistence. For multiple regions, this did not suit our requirement. Ours was like very, very specific and a lot of data going up and down. So we couldn't use it, but we did consider this. This is a good reference for you. And there are multiple papers available on this. So please, you can consider it. So what we decided, we evaluated multiple things, but we took the classical staging concept, where we connect Oracle HCM Cloud to the PeopleSoft and create a staging area in the database, and then start getting all the required data. If you remember, I shared a mapping. How do you get the data mapping? Shared all the mappings, share it to the source application, let the source application use the mapping and generate the data for you, and then you share it back and all those stuff. So we took that approach. Okay, we took that approach with the help of staging schema created in the PeopleSoft database. We connected to it. We used Oracle OIC agents, and we used SCM extracts, BI publishers, and the REST APIs that you'll be able to explore. I have linked for all of this at the end of the presentation. And I have already discussed what objects we were interested to sync. Now remember, in my case, my workforce structure was in Oracle HCM and payroll was in PeopleSoft. Time and labor, absence all moved to Oracle HCM. However, in your case, let's say you decide that you want to keep payroll and time and labor on the legacy and move the rest, then your objects will change, right? But regardless of whatever coexistence you plan, I think that your workforce structure and the assignment information, worker and assignment information, that is always needed to sync. And that is, all of us know that, the workforce information, workforce structure, and the assignments can be very complicated, and it was just for example, in my case, the business had 38 business units, 38 business units. So now you can understand the complexity of the data here, the worker information. So anyway, this is something which you need to invest some time and plan these objects based on what systems you are moving where. But we did this. This is our coexistence diagram. This is the diagram which, this is the coexistence which we created. So you can see there is not one way that that works. So I cannot say that, just go ahead and use so-and-so REST API and it will do all the job for you. I cannot say that, just use the agents, just use the adapters, just use the SFTP. No, I don't think that it's going to work out. You have to be very comprehensive. And that is why I was insisting on looking deeply at your current architecture. So if you see here, this is my Oracle HCM Cloud. Now it has to coexist with PeopleSoft. You can see my Oracle PeopleSoft is here. We use PeopleSoft database and connected through agent. OIC gives you that flexibility of using agents. And then we use a staging schema, and we use the staging schema to sync the data. There were other things, time and attendance. This customer that we had, they had two major time and attendance systems and one smaller time and attendance. So overall 3 time and attendance systems. There were clocks installed all across their properties. and the employees used to just clock in and clock out, shift rosters, like a lot of those things were being done. So that was done through SFTP. They have a lot of their systems in via, they had a on cloud SQL Server as well, not on cloud, I'm sorry, on-prem SQL Server as well. So we connected to SQL Server because there were some connections which were possible only through that. So if you can see, that is not one integration which is working here. You can clearly see that Oracle connects with PeopleSoft DB. That is one part of it, and then we sync the coexistence, the core HR data here. And then we have the ITMS, Active Directory, Azure part of it, AWS part of it, all of it here. Then this PeopleSoft, and then their payroll was actually running in ADP. And then, this diagram is limited for the sake of simplicity and for the sake of the scope of this meeting. But then there is another part of this diagram where, this all payroll is going to JD Edwards because your finance and accounting was in JD Edwards, right? So it had the other part as well. So you can see what I'm trying to highlight here is like this such a very specific coexistence that we have designed, but it will be different for you. But you have to think, don't think that there will be just one thing which will do the wonder for you. No, one integration, one API, one file transfer, it won't work out. Like for example, right now, I'm working on coexisting Oracle HCM with ADP. I am in process of that design. So, for one of our customers, they are using ADP for their current HR needs. And now they have decided to move to Oracle HCM, and they have Oracle ERP Cloud as their finance system. So currently I'm working on that, and that is different from this. I can tell you because I have done this and I'm working on that one. And then another one, like the SAP one, which we worked, that was another different thing. So my point is, at one point of time, you have to be very deeply, cohesively look at your current system architecture and then decide and design your coexistence. So that was about more of, the coexistence, that use case that I had. So I will pause for a few seconds for you to, take time and write down your questions in the chat. We will carve out a time towards the end of this meeting, few minutes to take on those questions. So let me pause for a few seconds while you type in your questions. Please feel free to ask questions. And even if I am not able to answer all the questions today, which I will try to answer all of them, but if not, then also I promise that I will be replying to all your questions. You'll receive an email if by any chance you are not able to get the answer today. All right. So yes.
Nishant, there is one question in the Q&A.
So shall we take it at the end? Like this pause was allowing them to write the questions, but let us finish this all and then we will take the questions at the end. Will that be okay?
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you.
Absolutely. So now your coexistence with EBS. Now again, sorry. So if you have your EBS system and that you want to coexist with Oracle, so this coexistence is again from Oracle. One of the Oracle suggested methodologies, one of the Oracle suggested ways. Pretty simple again, like now we have spent last 40 minutes, almost like 35 to 40 minutes, understanding and discussing about how coexistence can be planned. So I'm sure this will look pretty easy to you. The diagram clearly says you have the SCM cloud here, and then you have the EBS payroll, which means for good regions for your business, you have decided to run your payroll in EBS while rest of the things move to Oracle HCM cloud. So how do you coexist both of them? It has very well defined steps. Look at this, pretty simple. Step number 1, prepare EBS for SCM cloud for the connection. Prepare your SCM cloud for data synchronization, right? Then extract the reference data. give those mappings to EBS, which is step number 4, right? The step number, EBS gets that. EBS uses the mapping, the data and the mapping that you are sending to, create its own data, right? Perform its own setup on the data mapping, right? So if that is created, and then at the same time, you are resending the worker information, the transactional data, basically the TNL, the absence, all of that. And then EBS uses both the sets, the data mapping setup performed and the transactional data which is receives, and uses it to, feed it to the EBS payroll. So that is how, this is a very simple approach. Now, again, when you look at your business, things will be complicated because you may say that, my time and labor data is, time and attendance is maybe somewhere else and I need to pull it. So I have to design a separate integration for that. You may say like, my absence is complicated, my benefits are not in place. All of this will be there, but this serves you a very good starter to, start thinking if you have to coexist your Oracle Fusion HR system with Oracle EBS payroll, Oracle EBS system. Similarly, ADP. So like I told you, right now I'm working for one of my customers where I'm designing their Oracle HCM and ADP coexistence. So we have, there is a product called Flex Spring. Now, don't think that I'm recommending any product. No, I'm not doing that. Trust me, I'm doing this in all good faith for the academic interest for all of us, uh, based on whatever research I and my team have done to come to these conclusions. So this is just knowledge sharing, right? So Flex Spring is one of the products which is there. It is like kind of a integration tool or a connector tool which is available with ADP, which allows a very smooth, seamless integration between Oracle HCM and ADP, whether it is like, ADP Workforce Now, ADP Next Generation, ADP Vantage HCM, whatever it is, it allows you. And then it has two different modes. One is the turnkey integration, which is the ready-made, built-in interface available. You can just use it, and you can just take it, implement it, and use it. And then the other one is the custom integration. So right now I am evaluating that design. So if all goes well, maybe after a few months, we may be, I may be getting the privilege to present that design as well in a similar meeting. But as of today, we are doing it, So now multiple use cases are available, for ADP and Oracle HCM, and this will hold true for everyone, every two system. But ADP, FlexSpring gives you in terms of like, different use cases so that you can take whatever use case suits your business. So one thing is like simple, like, new hire from Oracle HCM to ADP. So you are hiring in Oracle, onboarding in Oracle HCM, and then rest in ADP. Similarly, the employee updates. Now, not only this, there are multiple, you can see ATS can integrate with ADP, core HRIS and ATS together can talk to each other and then ultimately talk to ADP. There are multiple flavors. Just explore this, and this will give you a lot of, again, the starter kit for you to start thinking about your ADP integration. I'm rushing a little bit in interest of time. We have very few minutes left. This is your SAP. Now, when it comes to SAP coexistence, now there are two parts of it. Now, if you are talking about SAP Cloud, if you have to integrate, then I will suggest go and look out at the SAP adapter, which is available in Oracle Cloud, Oracle OIC. But we are assuming that you are deciding to coexist your Oracle HCM with SAP on-prem. So if it is SAP on-prem, now again, you can leverage the power of Oracle OIC. So this is one of the principles I told in the beginning, right? Stay within the ecosystem. So this is what I'm trying to do. I am trying to leverage as much as possible the power of Oracle Integration Cloud. So take it, connect it. There are agents available. Use the connectivity agents. Connect with SAP. SAP has JCO. Use that to connect, and then you will be able to use the SAP RFC, SAP IDOC, SAP BAPI, all of those. So in case some of you are unaware, you can RFC is what is that? IDOC is your intermediate document, which is like file transfer. I think RFC is remote file component or something like that, which allows you to, access their files remotely. And then BAPI is nothing but business objects, so which allows you, event-based integration to happen. So this is also available. So this is one of the approach which you can take here, and the same approach now SAP, because SAP also gives you the JCO, and then SAP has brought in BAPI, RFC, and IDOC, so which shows that SAP is also ready and understands that it has to coexist with other ERP. So this allows you not only the ECC, SAP ECC integration, but it will also, like you can see, I have written just a couple of them, for example, like transportation management, like Oracle Engagement Cloud. All of this can also be coexisted using the same approach. Now, it sounds pretty easy, but I know it will be complicated when you do it. But at the same time, if you keep the thoughts in your mind simple and your design simple, it will not be very complicated. With this, I come to the design best practices. There are a lot of best practices. Now you can see the link which is there. How do you avoid the common pitfalls, and what are the best practices? All of them, the link is available. All of them are listed in this presentation as well. So I will just cover a few of them, which I thought are helpful. So first of all, we have a tendency to use scheduled integrations. Just as powerful as they also have the con that they may, if there are too many scheduled integrations, they start eating up your resources, and some of the other services will go in the wait mode. So just keep that in mind. Scheduled integrations are very useful to do your job automatically, but see if you can, if you're doing too many of them. Now, if you do synchronous integration, now this is a little bit technical. So like I said, this is a little bit tactical or technical in nature. So this will suit a part of the audience right now. But if you are talking about synchronous integrations, try avoiding the call of a scheduled integration. That is an anti-pattern. And that is an anti-pattern because scheduled integrations in turn are asynchronous in the backend. Now, you can do more research about it. What is it? And a lot of information is available on the link that I have shared. So that is one of the things, we went through this cycle. We understood it when we faced the challenge, and then we course corrected ourselves. So these are some of the things mainly about, you don't realize when you do too many integrations and schedule all of them, and sometimes you call a asynchronous from a synchronous one, and then you just go an infinite loop, and then just, it just puts your entire system, hangs your entire system, all of those things. So just keep that in mind. Timeouts are important. Parallel processing is important. Keep this in mind. You can read about it later in the link that I have already shared. And then the security best practices, I think I'm not touching it right now. That is a topic in itself. How do you secure this? I have given enough reference. I have kept 2 or 3 slides here, and then the link is also there. So in interest of time, I'm just jumping ahead. So, sorry if I am sounding like rushing because the time is running out. So best practices, I will summarize. Remember the simplicity. to start with, you may be fascinated with a very complex design, but remember, the more you progress into the coexistence discussion, your complexity of the systems will increase. So better you keep your integration, your coexistence simple, so that you have enough space to accommodate the other complexities. So keep it simple, buddy. It's very, very important. Stay within the ecosystem. Don't move out of the ecosystem. That will keep your system simple. Security by design. You have to have ensuring the security. A lot of this is there in the presentation as well. You can refer to it. Future-proof the architecture. So if you follow all the things, all the suggestions, recommendations, your architecture should be ready. Do not hard code things, or do not use a lot of on-prem or the the older things. So just follow the recommendations. You will be future-proof. And then you can see I have given you the coexistence implementation guide, Oracle Fusion Applications Coexistence for HCM implementation guide, very helpful. Then how do you integrate Oracle HCM Cloud with other systems? Read about it. It will give you a lot of insight. The best practices are there. I found a good paper about SAP and Oracle SaaS integration. You can use it. And then when you talk about payroll integrations, what are the different things, then you can see one reference here as well. So this is what I've tried to do. Feel free to send me a note if you have any doubts after the meeting as well. We can connect over email or another meeting, and we can discuss, we can do it, and we can share our knowledge. Having said that, again, at the end, please do not forget to give your feedback. That is very important for us, and you stand a chance to get a gift from DataWell. And at this point of time, I will open myself to questions. I see there is only one question. So shall I be taking that straight away now? Or will you please help me by reading that?
I'd be happy to read that.
Thank you.
Why not consider data conversion instead of integrating the legacy system? I have to imagine the cost would be less for data conversion according to a data strategy.
Yes, so this is I'm assuming the sender of this question is suggesting that you take your entire legacy HR system, convert all the data and take it to Oracle HCM Cloud and go to Oracle Cloud Live all at once, the big bang approach. Now, of course, we can consider this. Why not? This can be considered. This is a good thing to consider. But like I said, it has its own pros and cons. In our case, we wanted to keep the change management simple. We didn't want to disrupt. And like I told you, I was working on an ERP which had like 38 business units. There were like a lot of complexities with the conversion. The data was very, very complicated, and we didn't want to do everything all at once and make it complicated for us, make it complicated for business, and then reduce the overall quality of the implementation. Okay, so if you are talking about a small business with let's say 50 to 60 or 80 employees, less than 100 employees, and just few years of legacy data, you can very well consider going big bang as well. Mine case was different, very long trail, and a very multiple countries, multiple payroll systems, more than 6,000 employees. So the sheer volume itself was a deterrent, to convert everything all at once. And please don't hesitate to send a follow-up question. I will be happy to answer. You can see my email. You can see my cell phone number. It has WhatsApp as well. So you can WhatsApp me. You can send me an email. All is well. Everything is fine, and I will be happy to respond back.
Thank you so much, Nishant. That was all the questions we have for today. And thank you to DataVale for putting on this webinar, and very informative today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time.
You're welcome. Thanks. Bye-bye.